Addison Rivers sat quietly in the back seat of her father's sleek black Tesla as it pulled up to the parking lot of Jefferson High School. She wore an old denim jacket, a faded t-shirt, and scuffed-up sneakers. Her backpack was frayed at the edges, and her curly hair was pulled into a simple ponytail, but Addison wasn't poor. Not even close. She was the only daughter of Richard Rivers, a billionaire tech mogul and CEO of RiversTech, one of the biggest tech companies in Silicon Valley. Their mansion sat on 10 acres of private land, and her walk-in closet alone was bigger than most people's bedrooms. Still, Addison had begged her dad to let her attend a regular public school instead of the usual prep school elite. "I want to make real friends," she had told him, "not ones who only care about money." After weeks of back and forth, her father finally gave in with a condition: she'd go in disguise. No designer clothes, no private security, no mention of who she really was. She agreed. So now everyone at Jefferson High School thought she was the daughter of Mr. James, the family's longtime driver, and Addison preferred it that way until Brielle Carter happened. Brielle was flashy, loud, and obsessed with popularity. On the second day of school, she spotted Addison in her thrift store outfit and scoffed. "Looks like someone missed the bus from the thrift store," Brielle had whispered to her clique. They laughed. Addison didn't respond. She was used to fake people, but one person didn't care about appearances: Emily Morales. Quiet, kind, and always reading something, Emily offered Addison a seat in the cafeteria when no one else would. "You seem cool," Emily said. "You don't try too hard." They became fast friends, but everything changed one Monday morning. Brielle arrived in a black SUV with tinted windows. She stepped out wearing a designer outfit, carrying a limited edition purse, and her nails freshly done. "I have news," she announced in the hallway. "I'm the future heiress of RiversTech. My dad works directly with the CEO, and I'm basically the next in line." Whispers flew around the school. "What? No way. That's insane." Addison blinked. Her company? Her name? Brielle was pretending to be the real heiress. The funny part? The man driving Brielle to school was Mr. James, Addison's family driver. Brielle had somehow spun the whole story and convinced everyone she was rich. Suddenly, Brielle became royalty. Students carried her books, she got invited to every party, and even some teachers treated her like a celebrity. She mocked Addison constantly. "Move, peasant," she once said in front of the whole class. "This isn't your kind of crowd." Addison didn't say a word. She just smiled. She wasn't here to show off. She was here to observe and to know who would treat her right when they thought she had nothing. But Brielle didn't know the truth, and truth always has a way of coming out. The week after Brielle's big announcement was like something out of a teenage drama movie. People practically tripped over themselves to be near her. Girls offered to do her homework. Boys lined up just to carry her books to class. Even Coach Williams let her skip her easy, because she might need to save her energy for a business meeting. All because Brielle claimed to be the heiress of RiversTech. Addison watched it all from her corner of the cafeteria, quietly eating her turkey sandwich while Brielle and her fan club took over the best table near the windows. "I heard she's moving into a penthouse in New York next summer," one girl whispered. "She's probably going to be on the cover of Teen Vogue," another added. Brielle sat back and smiled, soaking in the attention like sunlight. Meanwhile, Addison kept her head down. She could easily expose Brielle with one phone call. One visit from her father would end this charade. But that wasn't what Addison came here for. She wasn't here to make people look foolish. She was here to find out who was real. And so far, the only person who had shown her true kindness was Emily. "Brielle is acting weird," Emily said one afternoon as they walked to class. "Like, I get that she has money, but she wasn't always this mean." Addison shrugged. "Sometimes money makes people act differently. Or maybe she just wants attention." Emily paused. "You're not like that. And your dad's a driver, right?" Addison nodded slowly. "Yeah, Mr. James." She hated lying, but it was part of the test. That evening, back at the mansion, Mr. James, her loyal driver, shook his head in disbelief. Miss Addison, he said while opening the car door for her, you'll never believe what that Brielle girl told me today. Oh, Addison slid into the back seat. She said I work for her family now. She gave me instructions to pick her up 10 minutes earlier so the school could see she runs things. Can you imagine? Addison laughed. She's making a whole empire out of lies, and you're just going to let her keep going? For now, Addison said. I want to see how far she'll go. Mr. James glanced at her through the mirror. You're a patient one. I just like watching the truth reveal itself. The next day, things got worse. During lunch, Brielle made a scene. She stood in front of the whole cafeteria and said loudly, some people in this school need to stop pretending to be humble. If you're poor, be poor. Don't try to act classy. She turned and locked eyes with Addison. Everyone turned too. Addison calmly sipped her juice. She wouldn't give Brielle the satisfaction of reacting. She knew better, because what no one knew, not even Emily, was that Parent Day was next week, and Richard Rivers, the real billionaire, was coming. He had personally called the school to confirm his attendance, and when he walked through those double doors, standing proudly beside his daughter Addison in her thrift clothes, everything would change. Brielle's fake crown would fall, and for the first time, the school would finally see who the true heiress really was. The days leading up to Parent Day felt like slow motion for Addison. Brielle was everywhere, louder, flashier, and bolder than ever. One afternoon, she strutted into homeroom wearing oversized designer sunglasses and a fur-lined jacket. Even though it was 80 degrees outside, fashion doesn't wait for weather, she said with a smirk when someone asked if she was hot. Besides, rich girls don't sweat. The class laughed. Addison didn't. She just leaned back in her seat and stared out the window, quietly counting the days until the truth would come crashing down. 3 more days. During lunch, Brielle pulled another stunt. She stood up at the center of the cafeteria, phone in hand, and began recording a live video. Hey followers, it's your girl Brielle, future CEO of RiversTech, here at boring old Jefferson High. Students giggled and waved behind her, desperate to appear in her video. Then, without warning, Brielle turned the camera toward Addison. And here's one of our less fortunate classmates, she said sweetly. Maybe we'll get her a job as my assistant one day. What do y'all think? Gasps. Laughter. Addison's face burned, but she didn't speak. She calmly packed her lunch and walked away. Not today, Brielle, not yet. Later that evening, back at the mansion, Addison sat on the balcony, watching the sunset. Her father joined her with 2 mugs of hot cocoa. You okay, Addie? He asked, handing her one. She sighed. I'm trying. It's harder than I thought. She humiliated you today, Addison nodded. On video, in front of everyone, Richard Rivers placed a firm hand on her shoulder. You don't have to keep doing this, you know. We can transfer you back to private school. No, Addison said firmly. If I walk away, she wins. She needs to be exposed, not just for me, but for everyone she's been lying to. Her father smiled. Then I'll be there, front row, with your mom. Let's remind this school who the real Rivers family is. Addison smiled for the first time that day. The next morning, flyers were taped all around school. Brielle had printed them herself. It read, Meet my billionaire dad at Parent Day. Photos, autographs, business tips, all welcome. Signed, the future of RiversTech. Brielle. See, Addison stared at the flyer in disbelief. She's really dragging my dad's name through the mud, she whispered. Emily walked up behind her, reading the flyer too. Is this for real? Brielle's dad is that big CEO? Addison looked away. Let's just say, it's complicated. Emily tilted her head. You know something, don't you? Addison smiled faintly. You'll see on Parent Day. 2 days to go, and Brielle was still riding high, telling anyone who would listen that she would arrive on Parent Day in a private helicopter. Addison remained quiet, but inside her, a storm was building. She didn't need to raise her voice. Truth doesn't shout, It just shows up and lets lies fall apart on their own, and very soon, the whole school would witness it. The halls of Jefferson High School buzzed with excitement. Parent Day had finally arrived. Posters decorated the entrance. A red carpet borrowed from the drama club ran down the main hallway. Teachers stood at their doors, smiling politely. Students fixed their hair and checked their teeth in their phone cameras, but no one was more ready than Brielle Carter. She showed up in a custom pink dress with rhinestones on the sleeves and glitter heels that clicked loudly with every step. She wore a bead necklace that sparkled like diamonds even though everyone knew it came from a costume store. Behind her walked a confused-looking man in a cheap blazer and slouchy loafers. Mr. James, the school driver, but Brielle waved her arm dramatically and announced, "Everyone, meet my dad, Mr. Carter, CEO of RiversTech." Cameras flashed. Students clapped. A few teachers whispered, "Wow, she wasn't lying." Addison stood near the back of the gymnasium, hands folded in front of her, watching silently. Mr. James looked helpless as Brielle pushed him to the stage like a trophy. "Come on, Dad," she whispered through clenched teeth. "Just smile and wave. Say something tech." Why? He awkwardly waved at the crowd. We make digital stuff." The students clapped again, some unsure, others impressed. Brielle beamed. "I told you all," she said proudly. "I'm not just rich, I'm next in line for greatness." But just as she stepped forward to continue her speech, the doors of the gym swung open, gasps echoed, everyone turned, and there they were, Richard Rivers, real billionaire, real CEO, walked in wearing a sleek navy suit, gold cufflinks, and designer sunglasses. Beside him was his graceful wife, and standing proudly between them was Addison, in the same thrift store jeans she always wore. Total silence. Brielle's face drained of color. Some students froze. Others whispered frantically, "That's Richard Rivers, he was on Forbes last year." "Wait, that's not Brielle's dad, isn't that Addison with him?" Principal Harris hurried over to shake Richard's hand, stammering, "Mr. Rivers, this is such an honor. We didn't know you were." "I'm here for my daughter," Richard said clearly, smiling at Addison. "Addison Rivers. I'm very proud of her." Boom, every head turned to Addison. Brielle's fake world began to crumble right there on the stage. Mr. James slowly stepped away from her side and bowed slightly toward Richard Rivers. "Sir, I apologize. I didn't know what she was doing." "It's all right, James," Richard said calmly. "You were just being kind." Addison walked up, her eyes meeting Brielle's. She didn't gloat. She didn't yell. She just said 4 words, "I saw it all," and then turned to hug her real parents. Brielle stood frozen, mouth open, face pale, reputation shattered. The whispers turned into full-blown gossip. "She lied. She said that was her company. Addison's been the real heiress this whole time." Brielle tried to speak. I didn't mean to," but no one was listening anymore, because now they knew the truth, and truth, it doesn't need glitter or a fake necklace, it just walks in and shines. Brielle didn't come to school the next day, or the day after that. Word had spread like wildfire. Within hours, the entire school knew that the girl who claimed to be a billionaire's daughter was actually the daughter of a driver and not even her own driver. Worse still, the school's Parent Day video had gone viral. Someone posted a clip of Richard Rivers entering the gym, hugging Addison, and calling her his daughter. The internet exploded. Real Rivers was trending. Addison, on the other hand, sat quietly at her usual lunch table with Emily, eating a slice of pepperoni pizza like nothing had changed. "People keep staring," Emily whispered, glancing around. "I know," Addison said, taking a sip from her juice box. "It's weird, you're, like, famous now." Addison smiled faintly. "That wasn't the goal." Emily looked at her closely. "Why did you pretend to be poor?" Addison paused. "I didn't want to live in a bubble," she said. "I've seen too many people change because of money. I wanted to know who would treat me like a person, not like a dollar sign." Emily smiled. "Well, you found one." Addison reached across the table and bumped her fist. "I did." That afternoon, Brielle finally returned. She walked in through the side entrance, hood up, sunglasses on. Her usual strut was gone. Her head was down. Her designer purse had been replaced with a plain tote bag. Whispers followed her through the hall like shadows. She's back. That's the fake heiress. She really thought she could fool everyone. In English class, she and Addison were assigned the same group for a project. Brielle didn't speak at first. She couldn't even look Addison in the eye, but when the others left the table, she finally mumbled, "You could have embarrassed me worse." "Why didn't you?" Addison looked up. Her voice was steady, "Because I didn't come here to destroy anyone. I came to find out who was real. But you made it about ego." Brielle blinked, stunned. "I just wanted to be someone," she whispered. "People only notice you when you're rich." "No," Addison said softly. "People notice you when you're kind. That's the difference." Brielle lowered her head. "I'm sorry. I believe you," Addison said. "But it's not me you need to prove anything to. It's yourself." By the end of the week, the hype had died down. Addison was offered interviews, sponsorships, even a reality show. She declined them all. She didn't need fame. She had her peace. As she walked down the hallway for the last time before summer break, students stepped aside. Not out of fear, out of respect, because they now knew. The girl they had laughed at, the girl in thrift jeans and old sneakers, was a billionaire's daughter and the only one in the building who never needed to prove it. As she stepped outside, the sun warm on her face, Addison looked up at the sky and smiled. She had passed her own test, and that was the real crown.